All right, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video. So, we're taking it back. I'm kind of packed up because I'm not gonna be playing. Obviously, you can see in the title, I would be playing a certain deck or whatever deck, basically. I'm gonna be running the stream. I've been designing it for the last 2 months or so, and pretty much everything is packed up except for my mic. So let's get into it. Basically, I've been in between a lot of different decks if I was going to play in nationals, right? I was kind of confirmed like, hey, I'm going to play blue, don't really want to play red. And if I was going to play red, I was probably going to play Sin. Didn't really want to play Sin because it's just kind of boring, to be honest. And with the EU win by Big O notation, I think there's going to be a little bit more gamma, a little bit more blue, but it is what it is. Another red leader is, of course, Vegito. I mean, I've been on Vegito for a good amount of time. I've gotten a little bit of flack of my deck list here and there. But honestly, I kind of just don't care, just simply because it's been running pretty well, honestly. Some people don't play the polymorphic Batora, and people don't play the beers. They just kind of use the Raditz super combo. But I've never really liked it, and it sort of kind of forces you to either play maybe the 1-drop attackers to take life, to play some mounting in your Z battle deck or your Z deck. It kind of forces you to use up that energy and kind of be a little predictive, which I guess Vegito is a little predictable at the end of the day, but it is what it is for that. This has changed up a little bit as far as the Goku and Vegeta ratios. This is more, I guess, more of an experimental build. I think this is like the Vegeto's sort of straightforward, and it just kind of does what it does, and you know, puts out big Vegetos and does whatever you want in a rainbow sort of way. So not too much change. I think the biggest change is the yellow, with the addition of the TP Vegeta. Just testing that out has been not too bad. And really, you just have to charge 1 in order to get Almighty resistance. The only issue is that Almighty does call for a yellow card in order to negate the counter attack, which is the only reason why I didn't play yellow. I didn't really see too much of a benefit. But what's cool is that you can use the yellow Vegeta here to restand and get something rid of barrier. This one does look at the top 4 and end up finding your Vegito if your 1-drop Vegito doesn't get it from the Z deck. But I think, again, this is a little bit more experimental. The side deck hasn't really changed, or hasn't really it doesn't really speak too much. But if I did go to nationals, it would probably be closer to this, something that is playing polymorphic and resolve combined with the hyper rush. Still have Bean in here for the defensive resolve combined. That's the only reason. You just keep 1 up and then untap in order to tap 2 for this guy and play a hyper rush Vegito from there. I think really just the ratios and just some of the tech choices like Goten, and as well as the Sin, things like that are what would change upcoming to the nationals. But I would take Vegito. Like, that is definitely a big contender for me. I think Violent Rays still is around here and there for the deck, and I do think Shin is going to be played, obviously, in Blue Gohan, maybe Black decks, who knows. But obviously it stops your 8-drops, and as well as Hyper Rush, so that's pretty annoying. But the deck's good. The Z leader is broken, and it's very consistent, at least in my testing. It's just, you got to find the right build for it. I think the person who's going to top with this, probably, like, obviously he's going to be top 32, so top 16, top 8. If they end up in the top 8, top 16, which I don't think Vegito will. I could be wrong, but it's going to be very, very consistent. You know, the ratios are going to be perfect. The pilot's going to be, they're not going to make that many mistakes, that type of thing. Next up is Gamma. Not surprised, not surprised. And I changed up the list since Gen Con. Just seeing the options that Gamma has in set 19. Obviously, again, it's a big old notation for winning EU Nats, and you know, giving everyone a little bit of ideas here and there. But like, yeah, set 19, set 18. Since I topped with Gen Con, at Gen Con, got 11th or whatever. And I would still say this is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, blue deck that we have. And yeah, I mean, the Ender 19 being able to play from your energy, as well as just being able to play for one, it's just so good because it's just free Z energy if it still lives, and it is searchable by the 14 and 15, and as well as the 18. So it's just an extra negate that you can get at any time. Again, 18, another change out of set 18. Just really good for the activate main. I've used the arrival maybe like once in playtesting, maybe twice, but it is pretty cool being able to at least bottom deck something on their turn or be aggressive and have a 25k swing that makes them bottom deck one out of their hand. I did switch over to the Android 8. The whole reason is because of Blue Gohan. If you haven't tested Blue Gohan against Gamma, it's going to be the regulator that will shut down people who pick up the deck the week before or the week after or 2 weeks before, and with a little playtesting. And Android 8 really helps with that because it is searchable by, again, 18 and as well as 14 and 15. And it is something that will help you be more defensive. You don't really play the Vegeta because you can just charge this and get it later, that type of thing. I was really against Android 8, but it is what it is. I usually like the Android 18 combo simply because at the very worst you can charge it for Cell because you really need that one green energy for Cell. This is the only green energy outside of 18 that you can really use on a consistent basis. So it is kind of annoying, but again, 18 or Android 8 is going to be the one. Let the battle begin with this kind of cool art, kind of ugly art. It's like ugly cool. It's going to be kind of the MVP. The only issue is that both that and as well as the Unison, it's going to be null and void in game 2, going against Black Smoke. So your sideboard's going to have to be tip-top shape if I had to say so myself, because if they have 2 open and they're using two to get rid of your Unison, which is going to be super annoying for both of you guys because it's very unlikely to die, and all they have to do is spend 2 energy to get rid of it. So it's really good incentive to get rid of that. A few other new additions are power claimed. I just really like the auto on either turn, just being able to bottom deck something that is 5 or less. Sure, you can pay 3 and have a triple attacker that has deflect, but because Bean is out and not very useful anymore on your turn, it's not so threatening that it is worth paying 3. But the Z Energy auto has been very, very useful against certain matchups that call for it. Again, it's 5 or less, which is a lot. So that's pretty much every small attacker in Red Sin, a good amount of attackers in Gogeta, and even against like Blue Gohan, like I was saying before, like that, this is really cool. The Infiltrator. So this is a really cool one. I've actually wanted to play 2, but it's not searchable and you can't really charge it. It just feels bad. The more cards that don't have the Android tag, the worse the deck kind of gets. You just kind of have to force yourself to play the 17 and 18 and fix your energy. But Infiltrator is such a good card for 2. Just being able to pay 2 and get that energy right back is really cool. Having a barrier, dual attacker, and deflect is just another attacker that they have to deal with, and it's basically the same concept as this guy, just without the removal. I am still maining the apes too, by the way. I just don't see the reason not to. It is easy Z energy that you can use for Cell or the Goku or Jiren, which is another new addition, and as well as just an easy draw 2 play. And of course, the secret. I think you can still play Hatch. I think Hatch is still really good. It's just that I love a board clear. I love Gohan. I love the fact that you burn one. I love the fact that you can manipulate your energy, and as well as just to reswing it or restand it and swing it again, or you can restand the Cell and swing again. So you can swing Cell 3 times if you have the right amount of energy. It's just that sort of thing that is really cool about this card in general. And because you're only paying 2 and you're bottom decking 2, which you can replace with the Saiyan Instincts, it's not too bad of an idea. I think better players than me will be playing Hatch, however. Just 3 of the Realm of the Gods. I think, I mean, 3 is probably still fine. You can play 4. This deck kind of struggles a little bit in certain parts of the game for the hand size. Your hand is basically essentially your energy, and you kind of need help wherever you can get it. Plus, there's a lot of threats nowadays in this kind of format where things are greater than their current energy. So it's just another part of removal that you can be aggressive with. And then 3 dirty bursts with 1 in the side. This sideboard's kind of whatever, but it is what it is on that. 4D magic, you kind of need it in this format, like I said. Need as many negates as you can, so that way you can establish a board state. And then eventually, I didn't add it here, but eventually Android 17. I don't know if you're getting to Android 17 like 7 energy, but maybe in the mirror, which means you probably need a side Jaren, but yeah, it's whatever. You know, I think the MVP really is to sell Awakening of the Created. It just comes up pretty much every single game that you can play. And Godly Spirit for the longer games is just the GOAT, honestly. I think this is the best card to pair with Android 17, in my opinion. It's just so good. Jaren the Immovable is pretty funny because you can pair it with the 1718, you can pair it with itself, you can remove Z or markers using Z energy in the mirror to get rid of this guy. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with it, and it's just sort of funny. It's just the green count is the issue. Having 2 specified green is kind of annoying. 3 14 in the main with 1 in the side. If you know anything about the Gamma matchup, is that you have to side in Koitsukai and as well as counterplays to really deal with this guy. So, and as well as now this, you know, now they have a free negate that they have to get punished for. So I would recommend, if you are going to be playing against Gamma, Koitsukai is going to be the move for that one. Again, one more 18. Particularly the people is really for Blue Gohan, Gogeta, and what was the other deck? There was one more deck for this one, but it sucks to charge a black, but you can easily get rid of it. And pitching 1 card, especially if it's an ape, it's going to be not too big of a deal. Baby is for the blue matchup. This is actually Beerus to get rid of greater than their energy when you swing, and then it's also barrier removal for 2. So on its own play for 4 energy, you can get rid of 3 things, which is pretty sick, and you can get aggressive with it. Bean is for Yellow Kid Goku, the reboot. So if you haven't watched the video for Big O Notation, he was talking about it. I completely agree with him. This and Kami are really good options for that. That's pretty much it. And then last one's Vegex, baby. Okay, all right. I'm done with the Vegex. After Nats, I'm done with Vegex. But this is the list I would take. It's the deck that I've been playing the most. It's 60 cards. It plays a secret. It plays this at 3. It gets rid of unisons, and it's like the best utility card for Vegex and just black decks in general, because you get the mill and draw 2, which is just nuts. You get to remove barrier for 2, and you get to remove a unison. It's just so many cool things. Plus you can operate on 3 energy for Shin, and then you can power burst to get it back. This guy is just broken. I don't care, Eric, if you're watching this, you're a little can't say that, but the 7 drop is so good because you can play as many as you want after you overwhelm. It's just the limit is that you get to remove 2 of their battle cards that come back, but it does get critical, and it is a 20k for those swings. So it is nuts that they didn't put a limit 1 on the being able to play, but whatever. It's just a 20k attacker, huh? That's all it is. This is really cool for defensive, so like it gives you a bean on your turn. The only issue is that the Z battle cards, you cannot swing with it unless you have a Z battle cards and you have 3 more energy, but the black Z battle cards are terrible, and you don't have a Z leader, so that's you just have to eat that L. The Vegex package is still pretty sick. I only play 3 of these, probably should play 4, but that is whatever. I think you should play 4 of these if you can fit it in. I just like every other card. You can probably play no, you probably should keep early. I don't think there's any like super smart removal outside of Vegex and maybe Black Smoke, and those aren't free. So I mean, this guy is spot removal, but they just come right back. So yeah. One of the OP cards of this deck is definitely Childhood Memories. This is like the hidden text that this is a negate. That's basically what it says. It's the negate for tokens. It's a token negate for Vegex, and it basically says you have 4 or less life, you get to take a life place a card at the bottom of your deck, which helps for your Trunks agents and Kai if you really want to bottom deck a Kai. And then you play it in rest mode and negate the attack, which is just nuts. Plus, this is also spot removal for 4 or less, which is just awesome. It's just so good. These are at 3, so you don't mill out. People are playing Janemba and Cooler. Why? I don't know why. Just stop. Surmounting at 4, because why not? You want to awaken and go through your deck or cycle through your deck when you can. And then for the mission, this is really just a 15k critical for 2. For 1 Z energy, if you have literally no play, which hasn't really come up, but it does help with this guy. If you want to play more than 4 or more than 1, you can just play another one of these Z battle cards. So yeah, and this every 7 black battle cards in your warp is a pretty nice effect. You just don't get the auto because you're not Goku. These are all pretty self-explanatory. Goji to Shin. This is just for the activate battle where you get the 5k. For very aggro decks like Blue Gohan. Deborah for what's his face? Stupid magenta. Jiren. For blue matchups, if it does go that long, Dende for Gamma. Protected the people for more aggro matchups, and then Koitsukai for Gamma. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, that is it. I wanted to play a lot of different decks, but I'm bad at the game, so there's not really. I can't tell you. I can't tell you specific things. I think this Nats is going to be very competitive. Hopefully, there's going to be some surprises as far as this goes too. It's not just going to be blue and red. But I'm likely wrong. I'm going to have a lot of fun streaming, so definitely watch out. I put a lot of work and a lot of love into it, so yeah. I also wish I can play Blue Dende, Wish Dende, but probably not. Either way, I'll see you in the next one.